Hi, I'm Mel Pickup, Chief Executive of Bradford Teaching Hospitals, and welcome to this month's roundup of stories from across the Trust. We kicked off the month by meeting Plaster Technicians, Charlene Brown and Ben Gracey, to hear about their initiative to put QR codes on plaster cast, allowing patients to easily access information and advice about their cast. We also heard from patients about the benefits of the initiative for the communities that we serve.
We had a patient that was coming back 3-4 times a week who was going through the advice. He wasn't listening to the advice. And I went to speak to Mr. Hannant and I said, the only way this patient is going to understand or follow instructions is if I staple the instructions to his cast. And that just sort of like snowballed the idea into finding something that would attach to casts, and that's where the QR idea came from.
It's something physical on the cast there. Once they've scanned it, it'll stay on the phone. They can access it via the Trust website as well.
It opens up a lot of doors where you're not having to try and get through a department, because you can scan that on your phone, you've got access to it.
We've just had a look at the analytical review. It shows that people are spending a lot of time, I think on average about 4 to 5 minutes actually reading it. We have noticed a massive reduction in phone calls. People are coming back and everything's fine, they've adhered to the advice.
We were also lucky enough to explore the work of 3 of our artists in residence here at the Trust. Peter J. Hodgson and Carolyn Mendelsohn spoke to us about their work, and we also saw some of the wonderful murals created by artist Lynn Smith over at St Luke's.
I like the feeling that my art gives some sort of purpose. People are getting a lot out of it. I'm currently working on my 7th piece of artwork for the hospital. What I'm mostly interested in at the moment is the staff members being together and more like a family.
We have 2 wonderful artists in residence, Peter at Bradford Royal Infirmary and Lynn Smith at St Luke's Hospital. I was just walking down after finishing a busy clinic. I happened to see that someone's painting beautiful colours on the wall, and actually put a smile on my face where I just thought, this is some nice work on those blank corridors that we've had at St Luke's for quite some time.
My feeling is that I want people to be at the centre of their own story. I have a process where I'm almost wanting to create a collaborative portrait with them that tells the story of their lives.
Thank you, Peter, Carolyn and Lynn. Also this month, we heard about exciting plans for a new daycare unit at St Luke's. Karen Evesley, anaesthetic consultant, and Marion Downey, Deputy Director of Nursing, told us about how the new unit will not only help tackle our backlog of patients waiting for surgery, but also unlock additional capacity here at Bradford Royal Infirmary.
Coming out of COVID, nationally we've got a huge waiting list. The concept of the St Luke's build is to have a dedicated centre that focuses purely on those patients and reduces their length of waiting time and gets them the vital treatment they need.
We can provide high class and quality care over on one site, so the patients only arrive to one area where they can be seen efficiently, dealt with in a daycare theatre environment, and then, as the name suggests, get sent home on that same day.
The construction starts in June 2023 and it should be completed and fully operational by March of 2024. This will be an £18 million investment for our trust, and it's planned to deliver 5,760 operations a year.
Finally, for the podcast this month, I had the pleasure of sitting down with Syima Aslam, Chief Executive and Artistic Director at the Bradford Literature Festival, and Collette Brauns, Living Well Lead for NHS Bradford and Craven. We heard all about the growth of the festival, some of the highlights of this year's programme, and the role that the arts and culture play more broadly for the health and the well-being of the communities across the district.
I think personally I have those little markers, certain people who said yes, certain people who came and said how brilliant it was, or what a wonderful time they've had. And I think the thing that always stays with me is that people come and they love the city. They look up at the architecture, they have a great time. We pride ourselves on our hospitality. We say, come to Bradford and have a great time. Yeah. So I think there are those things. And then, if I look at the education programme, we started off with just a couple of events in 2014. By 2016, we were running education days rather than just going out to schools. And, this year we've got 45,000 places booked across that programme. So I think there's those tangible measures, but that feedback that we get from young people, I remember somebody saying, this has been the best day of my life. And I actually said to my team, I'm not sure we can use that because it actually sounds like we've made it up.
You can hear the full episode of my chat with Syima and Collette by subscribing to the podcast. It's available in all the major podcast providers. Simply search Let's Talk with Mel Pickup. And that's it for this month's update. I look forward to sharing more stories from the Trust with you next month. Don't forget, all our latest news and updates can be found on our social media channels, Twitter, LinkedIn and Facebook.